After being injured in a car accident, I tearfully dialed Victor's phone. He hung up quickly. It was only on the fifth attempt that he answered. He was out of breath. "Handle it yourself, I have an urgent meeting here." He was lying. I clearly heard his hurried footsteps. The at-fault driver was a beautiful woman in her 30s, sitting in the car the whole time. She calmly made a phone call, coldly staring at me. Shortly after she hung up, the traffic police arrived. Victor came too. The little boy in the back seat jumped out of the car, hugged Victor, and cried loudly, "Daddy, Mommy hit someone, I'm so scared." Victor gently said, "Don't be afraid, Daddy's here." After comforting the boy, he took the initiative to hug the woman. He tenderly patted her back. "Wife, it's okay, leave it to me to handle." The at-fault woman was expressionless, her tone icy cold, pointing at me. "Victor, I accidentally scraped this girl, handle it." Only then did Victor look at me. My pants were torn, my knee was bleeding, and the pain was excruciating. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Meeting Victor's eyes, I stood up abruptly. Obediently and politely smiling, I asked, "What a coincidence, Manager Victor, is this your sister-in-law?" To survive, I changed my expression as quickly as turning a page. My tactfulness stunned Victor for a moment. Soon, he reacted, his tone carrying apology. "Oh, Stella. Are you injured?" I took the initiative to cooperate, playing along with him to soften his heart. He stepped closer to check my injury. I quickly stepped back, smiling and waving my hand. "It's nothing, just a superficial wound." The traffic police seemed to know Victor, registering Irene's documents while glancing at Victor inquiringly. It was obvious to anyone that Victor's wife was fully at fault. Irene's face was ashen, silent. Victor clearly didn't want Irene to be punished. Like a superior to a subordinate, he amiably asked me, "Stella, how do you feel? Do we need to call an ambulance? Or, name a price, we'll compensate you for medical expenses." I shook my head vigorously, like a rattle drum. "Victor, I'm fine, don't worry. I'll leave now." I stepped forward, stopping the traffic police. "Comrade, I'm fine, no need to handle it." After saying that, I picked up my backpack from the ground and limped away. My heart was pounding wildly, about to burst out of my chest. Even after running far away, I could still feel the cold, sharp gaze on my back. That gaze belonged to Victor's wife, Irene. I ran behind a pillar in the underground parking garage and collapsed on the ground. The smile on my lips had long disappeared, and tears flowed again. The phone rang. Victor sent a message, "Stella, I have something here, I'll explain when I get home tonight." Right after the accident, when I called him for help, he said he was in a meeting and told me to handle it myself. In reality, when I called him, Irene also called him. He answered my call while running downstairs, abandoning me to help Irene out of trouble. Last night, he wasn't home, saying he was working overtime at the company. I called him in the middle of the night, wanting to deliver the soup I had prepared. But he said he was worried about me walking alone at night and told me to stay home and sleep. In the morning, when I woke up, I expected to see him in bed. At that time, I vaguely heard a child's voice, but foolishly didn't suspect much. Full of anticipation, when I woke up, he still hadn't returned home. I called him again. He said he worked overtime too late last night and was worried about disturbing my sleep, so he slept at the company. I believed him again and made a loving breakfast to deliver to him. Who knew, on the way, I had an accident. The breakfast spilled all over the ground. The truth was revealed, and my heart shattered into pieces. Just now at the accident scene, I heard his son say, "Daddy, last night's puzzle isn't finished yet, tonight, come back and continue with me." Victor repeatedly said okay. Last night, he was clearly with his wife and child, yet he told me he was working overtime. He lied to me. I'd been with him for 3 years, and he said he was unmarried. One car accident exposed his other family. And I was his outside home. I was the mistress, the kept woman, the rat that everyone shouts to beat. The boy looked about 4 or 5 years old, longer than the time I've known Victor. I was the one who intervened in his marriage. I could only cry silently. Besides crying, there was no way to vent the deep fear and panic in my heart. In Irene's cold gaze, I saw murderous intent. She wanted to run me over and kill me, but she held back in the end. She must have discovered my relationship with Victor. At the accident scene, the moment I met Victor's eyes, many fragments flashed in my mind, as if I had a huge nightmare. That nightmare was incredibly real, like my previous life. I dreamed that at the accident scene, I threw a tantrum at Victor, grabbing him and asking, "How many wives do you have? I've been with you for 3 years, you said you were single. You said you wanted to be with me for life, just the two of us. You said you wanted to have children with me, a son and a daughter. You said we would share the same bed in life and the same grave in death." Victor hugged the crazed me, softly comforting, "Stella, this is a misunderstanding. I'll explain later. No matter what, your place in my heart is unshakable by others. I love you. I wouldn't let it go. You're a beast. A pervert. You deceived my body, deceived my feelings." I scratched and clawed at Victor, "Give me an explanation. If not, I'll go to the media and let the whole world know your scandal." More and more onlookers gathered at the scene, pointing at the heartless man. Victor covered my mouth, dragged me into the car, knelt and begged, "Stella, please, stop making a scene. I lied because I love you. I don't love Irene, I love you. Irene is my legal wife, but you are my true wife in my heart. Tell me any requests, I'll fulfill them all." I took the opportunity to threaten, "I want you to divorce and marry me." Victor repeatedly agreed. The traffic accident was quickly handled. I pulled Victor home with me, proud like a peacock. I naively thought Victor's love for me could overcome all difficulties. I thought having Victor in my life was success. Little did I know, that was the beginning of my nightmare. At the accident scene, to prevent me from making a fuss with Irene and to avoid greater negative impact, Victor agreed to divorce. But after the accident was handled, when I urged him again to divorce, he found various excuses to delay. To force Victor to divorce, I went all out, using every means possible. Slitting wrists, taking poison, jumping from buildings, hiring online trolls to spread evidence of Irene and Victor's unhappy marriage across media. I also threatened Victor that if he didn't divorce, I'd go to his son's kindergarten and cause a scene, telling the teachers, parents, and students that Alan's dad is scum. Finally, Victor divorced. He left with nothing. He only kept the company he built himself. The house we married in was given to Irene. Victor and I lived in the company, enjoying a luxurious life envied by all. I traveled around the world. Once, on a tour group abroad, I was tricked into a compound. I was electrocuted, force-fed chilly water, and ravaged. I cried and shouted, "My husband is rich, let me go, I'll give you money. Whatever amount, I'll agree." The people torturing me sneered, "Victor can't even protect himself, and you expect him to save you? Truth is, Victor sold you to the compound. But he won't live long, Irene will take care of him." Just now, the moment I saw Victor, my mind cleared. I immediately changed my expression, pretending not to know Victor. In my previous life, I made a big scene at the site, causing Victor to lose all face. The boss of a huge group, often on finance magazine covers, appeared for the first time in gossip magazines. Victor's marketed perfect persona completely collapsed. He hated me to the bone and later sold me to the compound. He agreed to divorce unwillingly. The affection he showed me in front of others was fake. He didn't love me, only himself. The moment I met Victor's eyes, it was like being struck by lightning. Now awake, I didn't want to make a big fuss, didn't want to end up dying miserably again. After escaping the accident scene, I hid in a dark corner of the underground parking garage. I sat there all day. I could only digest the truth the accident brought me alone. A huge concrete pillar blocked the view of passing vehicles. During that time, my phone was quiet. At noon, messages flooded my phone. All from Victor. At first, he asked, "Stella, where are you? I didn't reply. After half an hour, he started to lose his temper. Stella, I'm very busy, don't make me angry. Tell me where you are, I'm worried about you. I silenced my phone and didn't answer his calls. So, his messages came one after another, his tone softening. Stella, I love you. Wait for me to come home tonight and talk in detail. Stella, don't do anything rash, you are my everything, I can't live without you. My marriage to Irene was a mistake. That's my dark history. She's just a stranger in my life, you are my lover, my wife. Irene is in her 30s, just an old hag, I don't love her. You are a blooming flower, young and beautiful, 100 times better than her, I love you. Baby, reply to me, I'm so worried. We are lovers who share the same bed in life and the same grave in death, we will love each other forever. I never replied. Soon, a bank notification came, he transferred 100,000 yuan to me. He continued messaging, baby, I transferred money to you. Go shopping, buy whatever you like. My money is yours, spend freely. I sneered. Now, I haven't crossed his bottom line, haven't punctured his male vanity. He can still speak kindly to me. If I had torn his face in public like in my previous life, he would have turned hostile long ago. Mentioning money, I remembered something. I opened my phone and saved all the transfer records from Victor. Every sum, including the gifts he bought me. It was getting dark. The underground parking garage became even darker. More cars were coming home from work. Victor would be back soon. I calmed myself, doing mental preparation on how to act more naturally in front of him. The phone rang again, still Victor's message. Baby, I'm almost home, I'll explain in person. Irene is a stumbling block in our love, I'll get rid of her. A chill ran down my spine. Scenes from my previous life in the compound, being electrocuted and bullied, were vivid. My body felt cold, shivering in fear, as if falling into an abyss. In my previous life, I didn't give him face, tearing into him in front of everyone, causing him to lose all dignity, and he developed murderous intent toward me. In this life, I pretended not to know him well, he didn't get exposed in front of his original wife, and he still had lingering affection for me. So, for me, was he going to harm Irene? I reminded myself not to be deceived by Victor's sweet words. This time, I wouldn't die with regrets like in my previous life. Car lights illuminated the garage. Victor was back. I poked out half my head, eyes fixed on Victor's back. Once, I secretly rejoiced, thinking I must have done countless good deeds in my past life to meet him in this one. He was gentle and considerate, tolerating my willfulness and little tantrums. When I had period cramps, he braved heavy rain to buy me sanitary pads. When I was hungry at midnight, even with a high fever, he went to the kitchen to make porridge for me. When a project I handled was stolen by a colleague, he would bankrupt that small company, then acquire it and let me be the boss. I thought he was a god from heaven, omnipotent. He spoiled me endlessly, like a brother, a lover, a family member. The person who once loved me most was also the one who caused my miserable death. His contrast terrified me. I didn't want to die. Victor got out of the car, casually closing the door behind him. Dressed in a suit, handsome and elegant, looking like a successful person. One hand holding the phone to his ear, the other in his pocket. His voice was low and gentle. Wife, I have to work overtime, I'll be home by 10 tonight. Calm down, your health isn't good, don't get angry over unworthy people. Stella is just a plaything, she seduced me first, I just made the mistake all men make. Wife, don't worry, I'll handle Stella. How can a plaything compare to you? In my heart, no woman can replace you. I tightly covered my mouth, tears unstoppable. So, in his heart, I was just a plaything. Merely a disposable plaything. Victor comforted Irene as he entered the elevator. I calmed myself for a long time before following upstairs. Hearing the door open, Victor rushed over and hugged me. I caught the relief in his eyes. He indulgently ruffled my hair, smiling and asking, "Baby, you're finally back. Where did you go?" I've been thinking about you all day. I sneered inwardly, but showed nothing on my face. Recalling the deceptions from past and present lives, unwillingness and anger turned into tears surging up. Without warning, I raised my hand and slapped Victor's face. He didn't expect me to hit him. In 3 years of knowing each other, I depended on him more. Let alone hitting him, even quarreling was rare. Victor stared at me in shock, raising his hand to strike back. I burst into loud cries, hugging my head and squatting on the ground. You're a big liar. You deceived my feelings and body. I hate you. I sat paralyzed on the ground, crying hysterically. Victor retracted the ferocity in his eyes, slowly withdrawing his hand. He held me and sat on the sofa, patiently coaxing, "Don't cry, your tears are like knives, stabbing my heart." He coaxed while kissing me. I continued crying, "Why did you lie to me? You have a wife and child, why provoke me? I could have married a good man, had children, but you ruined me like this, how can I marry in the future?" Victor called me sweetheart and darling, continuously coaxing. Baby, Irene and I were arranged by parents, match-made. I don't love her. She's lifeless all day, with a cold face, how can she compare to you? You're young and beautiful, full of vitality, seeing you reminds me of my younger self. Victor held me, choking up. Baby, forgive me, I lied because I love you. You can't leave me, without you, I can't live. Victor coaxed me until I stopped crying, then personally cooked dinner for me. After eating, he held me to take a bath. Warm water sprayed on my body, gradually warming my cold heart. Victor helped wash me while hugging and kissing fiercely. I felt his bodily change, disgusted inside, and pushed him away. I cried again, "Don't touch me. I haven't forgiven you yet." Okay, I'll listen to baby." Victor responded repeatedly, "Husband wants you to know, I love you. Only with you can I be vigorous, other women don't interest me." I dried myself, showing an unforgiving look and warning him, "Don't touch me until I forgive you." Victor agreed repeatedly. I moved to the guest bedroom, locking the door tightly. Seeing I hadn't calmed down, Victor lay against the door placating me for a while. I found him too noisy. "I want to sleep, stop shouting." At 9:30 p.m., I turned off the lights early, hiding behind the curtains. Victor went out. The house became completely quiet. I quickly found my ID and bank card, took a few clothes, and fled overnight. Victor returned home at 6 a.m. His eyes were dark, looking like he hadn't slept well. The nanny was cooking in the kitchen. He asked, "Has Stella gotten up?" The nanny replied, "Last night you instructed me not to wake madam, I didn't check. I'll go now." Victor waved, "You continue, I'll go." He strode upstairs. The guest bedroom bed was empty. Victor's heart tightened, a bad premonition enveloping him. He ran back to the master bedroom, shouting while running, "Stella." Escaping the Yen family went smoothly. I dealt with Victor for one night, acting convincingly, at least without arousing his suspicion. I first found a hotel to stay in and began planning the next steps. With the tragedy of my previous life, in this life, I would never be with Victor again. The most important thing now was to abort the child in my belly. Without the child's entanglement, I could break with Victor more thoroughly. The day before yesterday, I accidentally discovered I was pregnant, holding the test report wanting to tell Victor the good news. Leaving the hospital, I eagerly called him. He said he was in a meeting. Calling at night, he said overtime, but actually he had returned to his home with Irene. In my previous life, after discovering pregnancy, I eagerly told him. He happily hugged me and spun around. He made me quit work to rest at home for the fetus. I listened to him. After the child was born, he found a postpartum center for me and an experienced nanny. After returning home from the center, I brought the nanny back too. I thought I treated that nanny well. I called her Grace. She lived in my home for 3 months, and I gradually treated her like family. Who knew, when the child was 1 year old, he choked to death while Grace was feeding him solid food. I cried desperately, cursed her, punched and kicked her. But she didn't defend herself at all, just repeatedly said sorry, kneeling on the ground letting me do as I wished. Victor was also furious, his face ashen. He called the police, and Grace was taken for investigation. Since there was no evidence of intentional murder, she was sentenced to 2 years and released. Later, Victor and I never had another child. Grace disappeared like evaporated air. I always suspected my child was deliberately killed by Grace. I couldn't determine who instructed her. I was sure it was either Victor or Irene. In this life, I resolved to break with Victor. This child absolutely couldn't stay. Hiding in the hotel, I secretly cried all night. After crying all night, I was exhausted at dawn. I drowsily fell asleep. The phone rang urgently. Startled, I jumped up from bed. Jumping up, I accidentally fell to the ground, my belly cramping intensely. Panicked, I picked up the phone. It was Victor's number. I dared not hang up or answer. I feared provoking him. Before ensuring I left Victor's sphere of influence, I couldn't block his calls or have more contact. The urgent ring was like a death knell, more like a sword hanging over my head. The phone rang for over a minute, finally stopping. Enduring abdominal pain, I made a call. Soon, a delivery guy brought me medicine. At this time, Victor's messages flooded in. Stella, I'm very angry, come home quickly, I can still forgive you now. I didn't reply, and more messages came. This time, the tone softened a lot. Stella, I saw the pregnancy test on the dresser, you're pregnant. I'm so happy. Come back quickly, don't hurt our child. Enduring pain, I took the medicine. It was abortion medicine. Victor's messages came one after another, first threats, then softening, then more threats. Stella, I know where you are, I can locate your phone, come back quickly. Otherwise, when I find you, I won't let you off easy. Stella, please, come home quickly, I love you. I knelt on the ground, leaning against the bed, belly twisting in pain, warm liquid flowing out. Tears I thought were dried up flowed again uncontrollably. I dialed Irene's company phone, my tone frighteningly calm. I'm Stella, please have Irene save me. I'm in room 1010 at the Joy Hotel. I woke up in the hospital. The sunlight was blinding. Irene was sitting by the bed examining me. Seeing me awake, she got up, poured a cup of warm water, and handed it to me. Her clear, cold, calm voice sounded, "How could you be sure I'd save you?" My pale face forced a smile, because this is a hotel under your group. You don't want someone dying in the hotel, right? Irene's lips slightly curved. Seeing her unconvinced, I added, between you and Victor, I trust you more. If you really wanted to harm me, one press on the accelerator, and I'd be dead already. With your power, if you wanted me dead, without you lifting a finger, I could disappear without a trace. Victor has been looking for me, I want to leave him. Only you can save me. I took out my ID and marriage certificate from my bag. Looking at the bright red marriage certificate, my eyes stung. We have a marriage certificate too, I didn't know he was married. On the day of the accident, I learned the marriage certificate was fake. I cried while wiping tears. I showed Irene all the expenses Victor gave me over the years. I'll return this money to you. I aborted the child too. I only ask you to help me leave Victor. Back then, how eagerly I wanted to marry Victor, now, how eagerly I wanted to leave him. Irene narrowed her eyes looking at the marriage certificate. She managed her emotions well, no expression visible on her face. Before the accident, I never dreamed Victor's wife was Irene. Irene was a famous figure in the business world, ruthless in methods, decisive in actions, a woman equal to any man. Many male business figures gave her thumbs up, full of praise. In my previous life, she could handle Victor, in this life, she certainly could too. With such a humble posture, she might feel some compassion. After all, only women sympathize more with women. How did you meet? Her emotionless voice sounded again. I secretly pinched myself under the blanket, pain stimulating more tears, and recounted my past with Victor. In the summer after university graduation, Unable to find suitable work, I went to a real estate office to distribute flyers. Daily wage of 80 yuan, but needed to distribute dozens of pounds of advertising flyers. I went to subway entrances, bus stops, and big malls. That day, with many flyers left, I took a risk, walking into traffic, stuffing real estate flyers into cars waiting at red lights. That day, in a hurry, my red string silver bead bracelet fell into a car. As I exclaimed, the green light turned on, and the car drove away. Losing the bracelet, I cried for a long time. It was bought by my mom, her only legacy to me. Due to the loss and hot weather, I caught a cold. I could only lie in my basement rental, dejected. In my despondency, the phone rang. The person said my bracelet fell into his car, and he found me using the phone number on the flyer. That was the first time I met Victor. Seeing my face flushed with fever, he took me to the hospital for N4. To thank him, I treated him to a bowl of noodles, asking the boss to add extra beef for him. For me, with a daily income of only 80 yuan, this was already the highest expense. Later, Victor helped me find a job in his company's design department as a planner. Later, when he realized he had feelings for me, I took the initiative to resign and jump to another company starting from the bottom. Victor agreed to me leaving his company but also confessed to me. I didn't agree, knowing our statuses were unequal. But he said love can overcome all difficulties. He said his parents had passed away, the company was built by himself, though not large, it could support a family. As the saying goes, a good woman fears persistent pursuit. Under his relentless courting, I accepted his proposal. When getting the marriage certificate, I was on a business trip, he found someone to expedite it. We had a travel wedding, no banquet. I recounted how Victor and I met, sincerely and objectively. Irene, this aloof female powerhouse, was accustomed to controlling the big picture. Her network was vast, even if I lied, she could investigate later. Irene pursed her lips tightly, her face dark as if frozen. The ward fell into brief silence. Suddenly, a loud bang. Victor kicked the door open, standing at the entrance full of rage. Seeing Irene, he was stunned for a moment. Victor clutched my pregnancy report. Holding back anger, he asked Irene, "Did you force her to abort?" Irene remained seated, sneering back, "If I forced her, so what? If not, so what?" Victor clenched his fists tightly, veins bulging on his forehead. "This is murder, you know? That's a child with my blood." Irene stood up unhurriedly, raised her hand, and slapped Victor's face. Her gaze like poisoned arrows, staring fixedly at Victor. "When we married, you promised me only Alan as a son. No more children. What now?" Wings hardened, not only playing with women outside, but wanting to bring a bastard back to divide the property? Victor stiffened his neck and shouted, "Alan isn't my son, I just want my own child, is that wrong?" Irene curled her lip in a cold smile, "That's not what you said back then. Back then you said, in this life, love only me, only Alan as a child. With me and Alan by your side, you're content. Just a few years, too much sperm climbed to your brain, amnesia?" Victor gritted his teeth, endured and endured, finally shouting, "Alan is my brother's child, not mine." Irene finally showed a woman's proper reaction, her eyes reddened, somewhat out of control. "You knew before marrying me that Alan was your brother's child. Your brother died, you sought my family's support, actively proposed to me. Now, wings hardened, foraging outside, wanting your own child, dream on." I tightly clutched the blanket, wishing to bury my head in it. What a grand family drama. I really feared they'd fight and I'd be caught in the crossfire. Like a quail, I shrank my head, wanting them to ignore me. I wanted to play dead, but Victor didn't give me the chance. He pounced, picked me up, and walked. "Stella, don't be afraid, child gone, we'll have another later. Now think of nothing, rest and recover." I trembled in fear, reaching toward Irene, "Irene, save me." Irene, when no one noticed, lightly wiped her eye corner. Lifting her head again, she restored her strong woman image. "Victor, can't you see Stella doesn't want to go with you? She aborted the child herself, she doesn't want to be with you anymore. Victor stopped in his tracks. I jumped down from him, burrowed back into the bed, wrapping myself tightly with the blanket. With Irene there, I grew bolder, my tone firmer. I aborted the child voluntarily, it has nothing to do with Irene. You have a family but deceived me, making me bear the name of mistress. I don't want to continue with you. I even less want my child born as an illegitimate child. The label of illegitimate child would make him unable to hold his head up, disgusted and despised. I don't want my child to live a life with a bent spine. I bravely lifted my head, staring at him. Victor, let's separate. The expenses you gave me over these years are your and Irene's joint property, I'll transfer them back to you later. Victor kicked over the cabinet by the bed, irritable like a mad beast. What illegitimate child? My Victor's son is not illegitimate. It was the first time I saw Victor angry. His eyes bloodshot, hair disheveled, like a Tibetan mastiff about to open its bloody maw to devour. Irene sneered coldly. Victor, the words illegitimate child stimulated you. You yourself are an illegitimate child. You deeply know the taste of being despised as one, right? I suddenly looked up. Victor was actually an illegitimate child. In years with him, he never mentioned it. This person, I truly loved and truly hated. Hate more than love. He was sensitive, suspicious, irritable, but also gentle to me, granting every request. All caused by his illegitimate status. Irene asked him, Victor, if you want to be with Stella, divorce me. Be together openly. I'd admire you as a man. Now, it's not the old society, 2 women serving one husband isn't allowed. When enjoying the blessing of multiple partners, have you thought, what's the difference between Stella and your mom? Between your child and you? Victor's chest heaved violently, his face growing uglier. His clenched fists loosened and tightened, tightened and loosened. Irene waved toward the door. A capable female secretary entered, handing a folder to Irene. Irene glanced through, flipped to the end, signed her name, then handed it to Victor. This is the divorce agreement. After you sign, we'll go to civil affairs for procedures. According to the prenup, the betraying party leaves with nothing. For your deceased big brother's sake, I agree you keep the company you created. After signing, you can live happily with Stella, no more sneaking. Irene held the hand in midair. Victor hesitated to take it. Victor looked at me, Irene also looked at me. I quickly crawled out of the bed, standing behind Irene. Irene, I don't want to be with Victor, you better not divorce. Victor lowered his head thinking for a moment, also said, Irene, I won't divorce. Initially with Stella, I liked her youthfulness, vitality, sunny and bright. She grew up under the sun. People want most what they lack. After getting her, I felt I also had the right to stand in the sun. Really, in my heart, she's just a plaything. Successful men all have confidants outside. I just made the mistake all men under heaven make. Victor had said behind my back that I was his plaything. Now, he said it to my face. It was clear he didn't want to lose Irene, this big tree, they had deep interest ties. Even divorced, it might not be clean. Irene snorted coldly, asking me, Stella, I ask you once more, have you decided to break up with Victor? I nodded quickly, like a chick pecking rice. Irene also nodded, considered for a few seconds, and said, Stella, leave now, hope you never appear before us again. Hearing her words, like receiving an imperial amnesty, I packed my things and ran. In the evening, I took the high-speed train leaving this city where I lived for 7 years. Victor messaged me, saying depreciating me in front of Irene wasn't intentional. He wanted Irene to let me off. Victor wanted to talk face to face. I turned off the phone, threw away the SIM card. Victor didn't want Irene to let me off, he wanted her to let him off. In my previous life, love-brained, I forced Victor to divorce, ending in miserable death. In this life, I absolutely won't repeat the mistake. Life is just a few decades, I want to live the life I want, not retrace old paths. I returned to my adoptive parents' home in the deep mountains. Back then, unable to have children, they adopted me. 2 years later, a brother was born, and they abandoned me. I was adopted by Grandma Daisy, who scavenged trash. I used her scavenging money to attend university. Later, when she aged, I sent her to a nursing home. The adoptive family didn't fare well. The brother learned racing and died in a crash. The adoptive father drowned sorrows in alcohol, died of alcoholic liver poisoning. The adoptive mother went mad from losing her son, fell into the river and drowned. I handled their funerals when I returned. Now, the old home has only a dilapidated house with drafts everywhere. I used my savings to repair the house, brought back Grandma from the nursing home. She raised me, I want to care for her in old age. The village elementary school lacked teachers, I volunteered as a support teacher. Though salary low, it sufficed for living. Grandma and I planted 2 acres of land, self-sufficient in vegetables, rice, and flour. In the small mountain village, no urban rat race, no intrigue. I changed my phone number, cut contact with everyone outside. I lived peacefully in the village for 4 years. Already passed from support teacher to formal staff teacher. That day, sunny and bright. The principal found me. He said a boss donated to build a Hope primary school. Today, specially coming for on-site inspection, soon, children could sit in bright classrooms. The principal said, I studied in the big city and returned, knowledgeable, let me go out with him to receive. Several black SUVs stopped. Among the crowd, I spotted Irene at a glance. She wore a camel wool coat, black flat leather shoes. She saw me too. She nodded slightly at me, a hint of smile in her eyes. My suspended heart slowly settled. No killing intent in her eyes, she wasn't coming for me. City and county leaders accompanied Irene touring the school, then held a brief meeting. Before leaving, Irene held my hand, praising me to the leaders. The principal spoke for me, Teacher Stella's class has been first in the town for 3 years straight. She's the pride of our village. Irene nodded contentedly, pulled me to the car, firmly shook my hand. Live well, life's not just love, there's career too. If needed later, call me anytime. I nodded with red eyes. Irene told me, after I left, she divorced Victor. Victor didn't want to, Irene despised him as dirty, disgusting. She also used evidence of Victor's company tax evasion to threaten, Victor had to divorce. After divorce, Irene's company no longer provided conveniences to Victor, his company development was hindered. He began frequenting entertainment venues, starting to like men. Soon, Victor contracted a venereal disease, company went bankrupt. Now, he lives in a sanatorium, awaiting death. I stood at the school gate, watching the vehicles disappear, finally feeling relaxed. Stretching lazily toward the sun, I said to myself, Stella, keep going.